হ্যালো এভরিওয়ান, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। সবাইকে স্বাগতম জানাই ফিট এলিগেন্স প্রেজেন্টস লুক হুজ টকিং উইথ মি গোলাম সামদানি ডন। আজকে আমাদের সাথে এমন একজন গেস্ট আছেন যাকে আমি প্রচণ্ড শ্রদ্ধা করি, তার থেকে আমি শিখি, এবং হি ইজ নোন অ্যাজ ওয়ান অফ দি মোস্ট অ্যাকমপ্লিশড পারসনস ইন দি বাংলাদেশি কর্পোরেট ওয়ার্ল্ড, স্পেসিফিকলি ইন দ্য বাংলাদেশি মার্কেটিং ওয়ার্ল্ড। আমাদের সাথে আছে নান আদার দেন দ্য ওয়ান অ্যান্ড অনলি তানজিন আলম। He is the Chief Marketing Officer of Berger Paints right now in Bangladesh, and he's also known for his long and amazing work at Unilever Bangladesh, যেখানে উনি লাস্ট মার্কেটিং ডিরেক্টর হিসেবে ছিলেন before joining Berger. Tanzin bhai, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming bhai. Ashole I know how busy you are and how crazy workload you take, এবং এই কারণে আল্লাহ আজকে আপনাকে এই পজিশনে এনেছে। বা তারপরে যে আপনি রাজি হয়েছেন আমাদের এই ছোট্ট শোতে আসার জন্য, এটা আমাদের জন্য অনেক বড় ব্যাপার।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
সো ভাইয়া, একটা অর্গানাইজেশনে কয়েক হাজার এন্ট্রি লেভেল এমপ্লয়িজ থাকতে পারে, বাট দেন ওই ডিরেক্টর পজিশন, সিএমও পজিশন, যে কোনো সিএক্সও পজিশন এবং আলটিমেটলি এমডি পজিশনে হাতে গোনা কজন পৌঁছায়, তাই না? সবাই পৌঁছাতে পারে না। সো হোয়াট does it really take to really move towards the top? এই পিরামিডের এই যুদ্ধে আসলে কোনো হ্যাক আছে নাকি? আপনার নিজের জীবন থেকে আমাকে বলেন।
Yeah. No, hack is a bad word because it might sound as if there's a shortcut.
No, আমি ওটা মিন করছি না।
No, that's I want to. So it takes a lot of the first word I would used to say is sacrifice.
জি, আচ্ছা।
And it depends on the particular organization, but at a certain level, you really need to show the results. Because abar hack hole oneke kore acha thik ache, I'll do these, take these shortcuts, I'll go around trying to make myself visible and showcase my work and all that. No, but in the long run, people will understand, right? I mean,
result দেখাতেই হবে।
Yeah, so first thing is, what are you doing for the business? Are you one of the most valuable resources of the organization? What are you doing? Din sheshe protita organization is simple. I always say that top line, bottom line, market share, brand equity. Ei charta jinishe top line, bottom line, market share, brand equity.
Okay.
So what are you doing every
Very
moment?
nice.
Every moment you have to ask yourself, I'm spending that time in a meeting. Is this adding incremental growth to the business? If it's not, then you should stop the meeting.
হ্যাঁ, আমি আমার টিমকে যেরকম বলি যে it doesn't add any value, let's not do it. এটা আমি আমার স্টাইলে বলি।
Yeah, so এই চারটা জিনিসই তারপর আমাকে অনেক বলা যাচ্ছে গ্রোথ তো দিছি। আমি বললাম না, is that growth profitable? Is it competitive? Is it and is it responsible? And is it driving long-term brand equity? Because growth অনেকে short term দিয়ে দেয় basically. We have seen plenty of leaders who came in and went out, but they screwed the business basically. So because you're just focusing on, and we have seen also some,
এবং দেখা যায় যে পরে, সরি ইন্টারাপ্ট করছি, যে পরে দেখা যায় যে মার্কেটে প্রচুর টাকা বাকি বা প্রচুর প্রোডাক্ট অফলোড করে বসে আছে।
Because that's short term result is also not, when I said result, short term results হচ্ছে কি basically যে, and we've seen, I'm saying across the industry, there are sometimes you see that they have come on assignments, 2-3 years assignment এর জন্য sometimes foreigners are coming and they're like, I know I'm going to leave after 3 years, right? So 3 বছর শুধু দিয়ে চলে যাব আর কি basically. Yeah, but I am always a very big supporter of local talent, because বাইরের দেশে, because I've worked for 4 years in India and Mumbai, yeah. And I just want to share this story here that the first time when when my office applied for our visa, for work permit, right? Work visa jonne, it was immediately rejected. And when we said why, so there's like no reason why. And then unofficially we were told that why does a Bangladeshi need to get this job in India? There are some billion people over there, right? Don't you think there's a qualified person to do this role in Unilever India? So the embassy just rejected it. Then came a 5-page letter from my office which সবসময় তো you're pushed back saying that you can always do better, right? আর ওই চিঠি পড়ে মনে হচ্ছিল, oh my god, I am God's gift to mankind. Basically. So it was like,
তবে আপনি আপনার জীবনে কিছু তো করেছেন,
but it was basically full of accomplishment, and to the point that basically that Tanzeen is the only resource who can do this role in India. That role only Tanzeen can do, right? In entire South Asia.
How was it in India?
Yeah, no, so that's what I'm saying. So just let me finish that point. But then finally it took another 3 months and then we got it. But the point I was trying to make is that, when Bangladeshi talent is globally, as talented as anyone in the world.
True.
So before I went there, I had an inferiority complex. I was like, oh my God, all these IIM graduates, right? I am from this simple IBA. These guys are like world leaders, right? So how am I going to be able to compete? I was seriously scared. But when I arrived there, and then finally IIMs were reporting to me, I was like, okay, yes. Yes, they are great schools and really, really, good. The best of the best go there, but we are equally good, if not sometimes better. So আমাদের এখানে, what I was trying to say originally, the point is that we are here to stay. We are here to build this nation. So we should be trusted more on this sustainable growth factor. So that's just to round up that point that, how do you come to this position is that when you have that obsession towards growth mindset, growth agenda to deliver the continuously figure out that, okay, everything that I'm doing is to progress the business towards this growth and getting your consumers or customers to deliver value for them. That's when you get to the top, basically.
So এই অন্য লেভেলে যে ড্রাইভটা বা এই যে that hunger for that growth, do you think it's something people are born with, or you think it's something that their life experiences gives? Because আমি প্রায় ভাবি ভাইয়া যে আসলে একটা মানুষ যে অনেক ড্রিভেন, দেখা যায় তার আশেপাশে অনেকেই, ইভেন তার পরিবারের মানুষরাও ওর মতো ড্রিভেন না। সো তাহলে কোথা থেকে ওই স্পেসিফিক মানুষটা ওই ড্রাইভ, ওই আগুন, ওই ফায়ার, ওই প্যাশনটা পায়? I keep on wondering often.
My personal belief is that it's never born. It's not about birth. It's not a lot of say it's by birth he or she's so talented. Nothing to do with birth. Yeah, of course there is some maybe background towards your genetic makeup or something, but to be honest, that is not the constraint. It's about your upbringing. It's about those influences basically. So for me, for example, the I would say one of the biggest catalysts is my mother. Overly ambitious একটা personality.
No, that's great.
So
I hope auntie is watching today.
She has a PhD in genetic engineering, and so at that time she took a scholarship, went to India, studied, left the 2 children behind, made a lot of sacrifices. We made a lot of sacrifices, and still today, when she wants to get things done, she gets it done. So.
Wow. So you go-getter হওয়া, ambitious হওয়া,
and also to see a woman basically. So she's proud to say she was the bread earner of my of our family. It wasn't my father basically. Yes, he struggled, and a lot of usually our norm is like the men will only lead, right? So my father struggled. He not everybody gets success easily. So he was actually, his passion was in politics and all that, but he struggled over there. Later in business life he struggled. So my mother really took the family through and led it. So what I'm saying is that for naturally there's other issue that comes in for me naturally. I just want to highlight this in this program is and coincidentally after that, in my bulk of my career, 90% time I was led by women.
Okay.
My bosses একদমই. So of course my mother was leading the first part of my life. Then when I joined, my first proper boss was a lady, okay, Lomapa. I'm forever grateful to her. Then there's a huge amount of Priya Nair, Prabha Narasimha Rao, and Harman. And now I have 2 leaders in my business. One of them is again Rupali Appa, the legend, very famous. So somehow or the other, I'm getting picked by the women. So
but it's good, it works for you.
Yeah, maybe. So I'm just saying.
The next movie dekhbe bhaiya, boss ke woman. Tick.
So the other thing is that it naturally comes that when you're working with, it's not a problem that to also where they stop or your peers or your team members, it's naturally easy to work with women, whether you're being led by or working with, because that's another challenge in our environment, that working with diversity of thoughts as well. That's something that we need, that diversity basically.
ওকে, হোয়াট উড ইউ সে, মানে আপনি কি মনে পড়ে নাকি এমন কোনো ঘটনা আপনার জীবনে যেটা আপনি মনে করেন যে এক প্রকার ভুল বা ব্যর্থতা, বা কোনো বাধা বিপত্তির ঘটনা, বাট আপনি এখন এই স্টেজে জীবনে এই পর্যায়ে এসে মনে করেন যে ওই ঘটনা ঘটা উচিত ছিল, ওইটা না ঘটলে আমি আজকে হয়তো এখানে আসতে পারতাম না?
Several. I mean, of course, starting with, I would say I didn't get the chance to study what I wanted, which is
really
yeah. So I got into 𝗘𝗹𝗲𝗴 University in the US to study biology, following my mother's footsteps. But funding crisis and all that, I didn't get to go. And I regretted that. Sometimes I still do, because I'd like to probably, if an alternate reality was there, I would be,
a doctor.
Working with science, basically.
Working with science.
Yeah. Okay. Then I got into, but then at that failure, I was, I got into IBA very luckily, and then that trajectory of life changed basically. But because of that, there are different contributions I'm making for the country. So that's a different path one. The other one was, when I got out, I failed in some 7 interviews. And I was getting 7 times. 7 times, like I was desperate. I had a very poor CGPA because I didn't want to study BBA. So I didn't get into my subject and all that. So the entire 4 years went by when I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. First semester I went into probation. I was failing because I bunked classes. I just didn't go to classes. I was just too depressed. So I didn't want to study at all. So when I finally got out, I was like, okay, now that I got out, I had to earn and all that, because because there was financial crisis in the family. It was very tough times, and I failed 7 interviews. So there were 7 multinationals and big organizations, and I kept failing the interview, right? And so then I sat down and I was like, okay, what's going wrong? So I once analyzed it, and I was like, okay, I'm not still being able to stand out amongst the candidates. So when it finally came to Unilever, right? So maybe that was a hack I did in terms of figuring out that how would I stand out? So that was another. So now that I, some of those organizations leaders I meet now, when I began the marketing director, I was like, thank God I failed and I didn't get there, because of course the learning foundation that I got in Unilever is immense. In fact, I joined for 2 weeks at another company, telco company. I won't name the name, my line manager, when he got to know I was getting into Unilever, he said, you go there. I said, aren't you going to stop me? He said, no. You come back later on, because you learn more there, about the industry, about consumer marketing better. Then when you're at that stage, if you still want to switch, give me a call. So of course, so those were the learnings in terms of how, maybe those reality didn't happen, but it was for the best.
So we'll be taking a short break. প্রিয় দর্শক, আপনারা কোথাও যাবেন না, আমরা ছোট্ট একটি বিরতি পর ব্যাক করছি। You're watching Fit Elegance Presents Look Who's Talking. Hello everyone, welcome back to Fit Elegance Presents Look Who's Talking. আমাদের সাথে আছে বার্জার পেইন্টসের চিফ মার্কেটিং অফিসার তানজিন ভাই। What would you say is your work ethic বা work style?
Yeah, It's quite infamous because a lot of complaints also come around it. Is because
Really?
yeah, because I'm too structured, so it's too disciplined basically. So it's about timeliness. You know, there is to be a joke that probably bathroom breaks are scheduled in my calendar. So when Outlook calendar first came out in office in 2005, okay, so that was the time it was just getting money. It was getting popular. I mean, in fact, in Unilever, it was still not getting widely used. Outlook calendar being used for meeting schedules and everything. So the work ethic is that, look, I feel that there's this myth যে মানুষ বলে যে না কর্পোরেট লাইফ অনেক টাফ অনেক রাত পর্যন্ত কাজ করতে হয় and everything. And I would just say that till now, I mean, even in tough environments like Unilever and other organizations,
during tough times,
I hardly ever stayed back after 5:30.
Really?
Hardly ever. And
But
people,
do you start very early?
not necessarily that much. I mean, yes, maybe an hour earlier, but it's about basically really ensuring, once you have that in mind, that I am here to deliver this thing and get out. And you know, work expands with time. তুমি যত বলবা যে বেসিক্যালি চাচ্ছে আমি জিনিসটাকে আটটু সময় নিয়ে করি, but if you put up ওই যে অনেক নিয়ম আছে পমেডোরো স্টাইল
ইলন
বেসিক্যালি,
মাস্ক ও বলে যে একটা জিনিস তুমি যদি 3 বছর অ্যাচিভ করতে চাও করবা, ওই একই জিনিস যদি তুমি 3 মাসে অ্যাচিভ করতে চাও তুমি ওটাও পারবা। Just
so literally
difference in
sometimes
thinking.
when I sit down I'm saying, okay, I have to write a brief. I time myself, you've got 10 minutes, write it, finish.
Okay.
So so time management is a very important thing for me. Deadlines and schedules. So a bit of a maybe too much structure sometimes, but I'm adapting. But that's one of the work ethics. So play hard and work hard and play hard. So when you're working, give your 100% attention and attention. I feel that's a
ওই
big
ফোকাসটা
হ্যাঁ.
রাখা, ধরে
So that is a
রাখা।
big challenge. And when you're going on leave, go on leave.
আচ্ছা।
Do not get get proper 2 weeks minimum leave where because there's so many studies done when you've a few days you've interacted with your work, you've not re-energized. You know, we are knowledge workers, so we need that brain at its full potential. So people need to get re-energized. People often, there's another problem in our industry যে মানুষ বলে যে ছুটি নেওয়ার সময় মানুষ খুবই আমতা আমতা করে যে আমি কেমন যেন একটা
ছুটি নেওয়া কোনো দোষের কাজ হলো।
but I say that, you know, the days you're not taking leave, it's like saying that I won't take salary for those days. It's not a privilege, it's your right. Right? And again, the point is, it's not about saying that there's fakibaji or something. So আমি বলতে চাচ্ছি কি যে you want re-energized, you want energy in your team. So take 100% leave. It's about output. It's not about the number of hours anymore. It's not about আমি কত ঘন্টা কাজ করছি. Someone can write a brief or someone can launch a project in less amount of hours by being more productive or smart, right? So and I just want to touch upon the point about focus, right? এখন একটা হয় কি যে এই যে অফিস এনভায়রনমেন্টে now there's this fund of open office, right? And like I have a point of view, and the point is that flexible hours and everything. The point is now that gets over abused, right?
It is
You need boundaries, yeah. সারাক্ষণ your brain cannot be turned on. We are not cardiac surgeons. We're not trying to save lives that have to be on call all the day, right? When I'm there, give 100% attention. My wife knows a different phone number to call me.
আচ্ছা।
Okay, and when I'm at work, she knows I will not pick up her phone. But if she calls me on the other phone, that means someone is in trouble.
Yeah, it's an emergency.
It's an emergency. She will, I had earlier, when I had a secretary, my secretary's phone number was given, and if I didn't pick up, she used to call my secretary, and once it did happen, someone died in the family, and the secretary came rushing and pick up your phone. And I was inside a meeting, because I don't pick up phones during that time. Yeah, so that's my work ethic. When you're focused, be 100% there. When I'm talking to you, I don't want to have phones in front of me.
Yeah, and have any kinds of distractions.
Yeah, so there are studies done saying that if it's on your peripheral vision, you will not have a meaningful conversation.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Really,
Yeah.
huh?
So there's a book called Deep Work. Yeah, so these influenced me a lot. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I got to do in 2005, right? It changed my perspective and my trajectory.
Mine
yeah?
too, which আমার সবচেয়ে favorite বই হচ্ছে
So
The
read
7
Deep
Habits.
Work, where it says that you know, deep, in my experience, আমাদের corporate life I think on average দিনে কোনো deep workই হয় না, zero by the way, yeah. And if you can do even 1 hour of deep work এর definition হচ্ছে যে you're doing something that adds value, that is not repetitive, and it's something that you're doing for new. It takes a lot of attention and focus. There's a definition, you can Google it and find out. Cal Newport wrote it basically. Yeah, it's an MIT
work,
professor.
Yeah.
So deep work, then focus, you know, the emotional intelligence Alex, I think same guy. You know, so if আমাদের সব organization if we just you know focused on focus and deep work, productivity ধাস করে বেড়ে যাবে basically. You won't, then you will have that excuse যে আমার সন্ধ্যা রাতে কাজ করতেছি. You're gonna get higher amount of output in less amount of time. And the biggest distractions হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে এই mobile phones, one, constant messaging, WhatsApp groups, all these, and the other one হচ্ছে গিয়ে যে meetings, unnecessary meetings, and the other one is your colleagues coming and saying যে আচ্ছা চল একটা সিগারেট খাই, একটা চা খাই, একটা কি অবস্থা কালকে কেমন ছিল, yeah. So early on in my career I used to have these big ass headphones, right, and pretending that I'm listening to music, but I wasn't all the time listening to music.
And you were working.
I was working. So there were some colleagues coming or some seniors আসতো আরো কারণ ওদের কাজ শেষ করে they want to have some kind of a, you know, break and একটু socializing করতে চাচ্ছে. They want to just unwind, right, and they're coming near to the cubicle and say hi, and then everybody's getting up because senior একজন আসছে and junior তুমি আসছো তো তোমাকে একটু camaraderie করতে হবে, and I'm like pretending it's a big one. আমাকে অনেকবার eye contact করছে যে come and participate in the conversation, but I'm like if I do this then I don't get to finish this project, and in the end I have to stay back. Yeah, so let me just ignore একটা পয়েন্টে they will also ignore, they will not like me, that's fine, but because I'm here to just deliver first results. And I did that, I got out.
I mean, Ranjan bhai, মানে আপনার সাথে কথা বলে আমি নিজেও একটু ইন্সপায়ার্ড ফিল করছি বিকজ অফ দ্য কাইন্ড অফ ওয়ার্ক আই ডু. আমি হয়তো আপনাকে লাস্ট দিন বলছিলাম যখন দেখা হলো যে মাঝে মাঝে মনে হয় কি যে আমি প্যারালাল ইউনিভার্সে বাস করছি. টুডে আই এম ডুইং দিস, ইন দ্য মর্নিং আই টুক আ সেশন ইন অ্যান ইউনিভার্সিটি, মাঝখানে কিছুক্ষণ অফিসে গেলাম, হ্যাঁ, দেন আগামীকাল আই হ্যাভ ফুল ডে ট্রেনিং, এই পরের দিন আই হ্যাভ ফুল ডে শুটিং, যে কী যে হচ্ছে. সো আমি পার্সোনালি কিন্তু এটা নিয়ে সাফার করছি এখন, যে অ্যাট দিস এজ আই ফিল লাইক যে আই এম লুজিং ফোকাস. হ্যাঁ, আই ফেল্ট লাইক আগে যে আমি মাল্টি পোটেন্সিয়াল, আমি রক দ্য ডোয়েন জনসনের মতো 14টা কাজ করবো, হ্যাঁ, আমি তাসান খানের মতো গানও গাবো, অ্যাক্টিংও করবো, টিচিংও করবো, বাট নাও ডেজ আই ফাইন্ডিং ইট ডিফিকাল্ট. আপনার সাথে কথা বলে কিন্তু আমি নিজেও এবং অ্যাজ অ্যান অন্টারপ্রেনার আমি দেখছি যে আসলে টিমমেটসরা চাইলে আরও অনেক প্রোডাক্টিভিটি বাড়াতে পারে বেসড অন ডিপ ওয়ার্ক. সো থ্যাংক ইউ এই নলেজগুলো আমাদের সাথে শেয়ার করার জন্য. আপনি বিশ্বাস করবেন না, দেখতে দেখতে 25 মিনিট হয়ে গেছে. সো দ্য কনভারসেশন ওয়াজ সো এঙ্গেজিং. আমি চলে যাওয়ার আগে আপনাকে আসলে একটু রিকোয়েস্ট করতে চাই যে ইম্যাজিন করেন এখানে হাজারো লক্ষ কোটি ইউথ বাংলাদেশের, আপনি যদি তাদেরকে মন থেকে মন খুলে কিছু অ্যাডভাইস সাজেশন দেওয়ার থাকতো, বলার থাকতো কিছু, তাহলে সেটা কি হতো ওটা আপনি যদি একটু কাইন্ডলি বলেন.
Yeah, I would want them to be curious. So first curiosity-টা করার জন্য you have to and read. So that's the point, is reading. So if the amount of minutes that you spend on Netflixing and all that, imagine if you could spend a few more hours on reading and lifelong learning, basically reading the newspaper. I hardly meet anyone who reads the physical newspaper এখন ধরে basically. Yeah, so I would just say, and then discipline and structure ওগুলি তো আছে, but I would, if I just had to pick one thing I miss around people, just একটা যখন কিছু হয় বিজনেসের মধ্যে, হ্যাঁ, people say that I'm bored with this job. I'm like, are you sure you know everything yet? You know, so being curious will take you so far, and schools are now killing creativity basically. When my daughter keeps on asking why, she stopped, and we are just, I mean, that's the norm, right? In university তুমি বেশি কোন কোয়েশ্চেন জিজ্ঞেস করলে তোমার বলবে না যে হইছে অনেক আর কোয়েশ্চেন করো না, right? So why even at the corporate level, when someone is in the meeting কেউ এটাকে প্রেজেন্ট করলো and you didn't understand, you're shy যে ভাই I don't want to make a fool of myself by saying যে I didn't understand.
Right.
You make a fool of yourself once,
Right.
Yeah, but others are making themselves fools forever by not asking that question. So ask why all the time.
Thank you, Tanzil bhai. I know how busy you are, and thank you so much for giving us time. I really respect it. I really honor it. Thank you so much, Tanzil bhai.
Great to be here.
Thank you. প্রিয় দর্শক, আমি শিওর যে আমি নিজে যেরকম একটু ইন্সপায়ার্ড ফিল করছি, অলরেডি প্ল্যান করে ফেলছি কালকে অফিসে গিয়ে সবাইকে ডেকে আমি এই কথাগুলো বুঝাবো, ডিপ ওয়ার্কের কথা বলবো, ডিসিপ্লিনের কথা বলবো, এই যে 100 বার নিচে যায় উপরে উঠে, নিচে যায় উপরে উঠে, এগুলোকে আমি একটু কন্ট্রোলে আনবো. আমি নিজে ইন্সপায়ার্ড ফিল করছি. আই হোপ আপনারাও আজকে এই এপিসোডটা থেকে এই ইনভ্যালুয়েবল যে অ্যাডভাইসগুলো, যে টিপসগুলো, একদম জীবন থেকে নেওয়া উদাহরণগুলো, যে ডিস্ট্র্যাকশন থেকে নিজেকে বাঁচানোর জন্য দরকার হলে হেডফোন পরে অ্যাক্টিং করতে হয়, এগুলো কিন্তু বিরাট বিষয়। এবং কোনো এমবিএ ডিগ্রি, কোনো কনভেনশনাল এডুকেশন সিস্টেম আপনাকে এই জীবনের গল্পগুলো কখনোই শেখাতে পারবে না। উনি ওনার জীবনে করে এসেছেন, আজকে ওই শূন্য থেকে এই জায়গায় এসেছেন। উনি কোনো প্রিভিলেজ ব্যাকগ্রাউন্ড থেকে না, উনি বারবার বলেছেন, উনি ওনার খুব পার্সোনাল কথাও আজকে সবার সামনে ওপেনলি বলেছেন। এটা অনেক বড় ব্যাপার। আমরা যারাই এই শোটা আজকে দেখলাম, আমাদের সবার অনেক সৌভাগ্য এই জিনিসগুলো জানতে পেরে। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। আশা করি সবাই ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন। আগামী সপ্তাহে আবারও দেখা হচ্ছে। টিল দেন স্টে কুল, বাই, গুড নাইট, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।